I'm going to be your moderator for tonight's candidates night, and I'd like to thank you all for coming. My last experience in this building was for a turkey dinner, and I promised the candidates that I'll behave myself and there won't be a serving of ham tonight, so we'll try to resist that. We're fortunate in the respect that we do have a full slate tonight, and you'll have an opportunity to have your questions read and some answers on pertinent topics. There is, my understanding that there is a prohibition against personal questions, so we will concentrate on those issues before the current board and for the school district. Tonight, we are privileged to have Mr. Tantlinger. Mr. Tantlinger is Urban Tantlinger. He's a resident of Fairfield Township. He's been the Ligonier Valley School Board Director for the past 10 years. He's cross-filed and has been able to serve in the past. Mr. Tantlinger is a graduate of IUP. He has a master's in education from the University of Pittsburgh, and he has also served on the Board of Trustees of the Westmoreland County Community Trust. Mr. Tantlinger has also been a volunteer firefighter, and is a member of the Fort Palmer Evangelical Church. Mr. Tantlinger has been married for 45 years, and considered my profession as a godsend. And he has 3 grandchildren in the Ligonier Valley School District. Next is Irma Hutchinson, Irma Stauffer Hutchinson, excuse me. Irma has been serving on the Ligonier Valley School Board since January of this year, and she is cross-filed as well. Ms. Hutchinson is returned to the area, and she, in her rotation, returned to the Valley in March 2008. I don't know that you ever leave the Valley. It's always within the blood, so it's always there for you. Ms. Hutchinson also believes that our school district has a history for providing a good educational program for students with the resources available. And it's important to prepare them for the future and keep in mind the current technology and the demands of the future workplace. Next is Jack McDowell. Jack is a lifelong resident of Ligonier. Jack is a graduate of Ligonier Valley High School. I won't say what year, but he earned his BS from Edinburgh University, so he's a fighting Scot, and he has a master's from IUP. Jack had the privilege of teaching my stepson, and if he survived the experience, probably would enable him to answer any questions here. Jack and his wife have a grown daughter who's also a graduate of Ligonier Valley School District. Jack is also serves with the Ligonier Valley Fire Company #1, and he's been interested in promoting the ideals of the Ligonier Valley School District and doing what's in the best interest of children. We have Lynn Sulky here with us tonight, and Lynn is a resident of the Valley. Lynn was part of the Latrobe community, but she is now a resident of the Ligonier Valley and has been so for almost 15 years. Lynn is cross-filed for the primary, and she's a firm believer in creating a harmonious educational environment for the children so that they can flourish and prosper, and do so without creating a financial burden for the residents of the community. Lynn has quite a unique experience in the same time that she's volunteered for the Hollow Tree Players, and being up on stage should not be much of a problem for her. Bruce Robinson is also a candidate, and Bruce is a graduate of Westminster College, and he is general manager of Laurel Valley Golf Club, and has been so since 1990. Bruce serves on the board of a variety of different charities within our community, most notably a Delphi Foundation, and he's also a director at Commercial National Bank and an elder of the Covenant Presbyterian Church. Bruce has also cross-filed for the primary, and Bruce mentioned that he would like to balance educational opportunities with the costs associated with what's best for the students' interests. Making a comment tonight after the questions and after these candidates have an opportunity to not only address your questions but make a statement will be Al Sawyer. Al was raised in Pittsburgh. He has both a bachelor's and master's degree in mechanical engineering from Pitt. 3 of his children have graduated from Ligonier Valley High School, and I'm envious of Al because he retired and he's a former director of the Homer City generating station after 13 years in the industry. I mentioned that there will be some questions, and I do have questions in the bag behind me. And what I will do is, thanks to your assistance, we'll have an opportunity to read the question, and we'll have an opportunity to have the candidate answer the question, and there will be a time limit of 3 minutes. I will give a warning, a 30-second warning of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Do this. This sounds second. I'm going to move to closest. Ladies and gentlemen, before we entertain questions, I've been reminded that the candidates wish to give an opening statement. And if we could, Mr. Robinson,
Thanks, Mark. My name is Bruce Robinson. I'm running for re-election in the Ligonier Valley School District. I have a background in education, attended college. I minored in education, so that I did my student teaching at Benjamin Franklin Junior High School in Newcastle. Also, I'm the chairman of the Delphi Education Incorporated, which is a separate entity from the Delphi, which deals with just the educational component of that foundation. I'm a firm believer in public education. And I'm also, the Ligonier Valley School District ranked 76 out of the 500 school districts in Pennsylvania. And I feel that that's a great achievement, and I'm proud of the administrators, the teachers, and the students. It's a great achievement, and we all should be proud of it. I've supported the consolidation of schools in Laurel Valley, which was the right thing to do. I led the efforts to keep the property taxes to a 0 increase over the past 4 years. Many cost-saving measures were had to be put in place in order to do this, but they were able to be done, and I think that if you look at all the other school districts in the local surrounding areas, that's pretty good in terms of being fiscally responsible to the taxpayers. I believe the school board should establish policies and then let the administrators carry them out by hiring competent administrators, and when people aren't doing their job, changing them out to find people who will be responsible